Hello everybody, hello iGo Yoga family, it's Holly Luton here, and if you don't know me, then I help people to live with less stress and more joy using yoga and meditation. So in today's live experience, I'm going to be focusing on how to stop those very judgmental and often negative thoughts towards yourself and towards others, so you can live a much freer, much more abundant life and actually start focusing on your dreams, your purpose and your aspirations for the future. So right now we have a guided meditation session going, and we thought we'd go live for the first part of the session just to give you guys a little insight as to what you can expect from one of the iGo Yoga online live classes, whether that be through yoga or meditation. And then we'll say bye-bye to you guys, and together collectively we'll move through some breath work, some chanting and a guided meditation practice, which will hopefully, really put you at ease. So if you're watching this on Facebook Live and you think, oh, I'd just love to be a part of the guided practice, then please do head over to igowithholly.com. How easy is that to remember? igowithholly.com, and you'll be able to see our live online virtual classes, our timetable all through the week, and you'll be able to pick and choose which class you'd like to attend, and it's all donation based as well. So who's today's practice for then? Well, today's discussion is for you if you are constantly finding that you are judging yourself and putting yourself down. It is also for you if you find yourself constantly comparing yourselves to other people around you. I do that a lot. And maybe, this is for you if you feel like that judgmental point of view is now making it really difficult for you to actually see the beauty in others. Maybe you're always clouding others with a judgment, tarring them with a brush, and tainting your view of someone even before you've actually got to know the real side of them. So today's discussion is going to help you to release those judgmental thoughts so you can actually view from a very accepting point of view. So you can just accept everything and everyone, including yourself, as you are, as they are, and as it is, rather than labeling or putting these judgments, stamping these judgments, and then changing your ability to tap into more opportunity in your life. It's also going to help you to just really see things with greater clarity. As I said, see things as they are, see things much more clearly, and be able to tap into your authentic truth rather than this false persona that we put out into the world. So again, if you are watching this live and you'd like to join us for our upcoming live yoga meditation classes, then just head over to igowithholly.com and you'll find our full timetable there. Just take a look. There might be something for you. So let's get back into subject. Let's dive deep in. Today's topic is how to stop those judgmental and often negative thoughts towards yourself and towards others. So we spend time each day, don't we? Cleaning our home, making sure everything's perfect. We wash up the dishes. We probably wouldn't go more than a day without washing up. We do the laundry, and we clear out the physical clutter that surrounds us. So we do that quite habitually, and it would really bring a lot of pain if we had to live in the clutter. Imagine spending, leaving the washing up for a whole year without actually taking the time to clean up your kitchen. It would be really hard for you to cook a decent meal. It would be really hard for you to feel relaxed and comfortable. So, so many of us do this. We spend so much time, creating order outside of ourselves, but we actually don't take the time to turn our attention inward and clear out the mental junk that we've been experiencing. And when we fail to turn our attention inward, when we fail to cleanse the mind, we then collate a lot of mental baggage that quite often is not of our own. And we're not aware then, of what we're actually thinking about most of the time. And so we move into this very habitual way of thinking, which becomes very reactive, and that's how we live our lives, through very habitualized patterns. And if we were really to sit down and put all of our thoughts onto a table, some of the thoughts that we think about would be quite disturbing. If you had to put it out there publicly, this is what I've been thinking about, it would be quite disturbing, often quite scary and quite embarrassing if we really had to, become aware of all of our thoughts. And what we would probably find is that many of the ways of thinking have been quite narrow, and we tend to have very strong viewpoints on particular subjects in our life, particular things in our life. And these viewpoints are often very rigid and very fixed. I believe this because, and we will go to the end of the earth to state what we believe, even if it means that we have to knock down people or things, to get, for us to be heard. And, this one-sided view pretty much derives out of fear. We have these very hard, firm beliefs because maybe in the past we've been hurt by someone or something, and now we've become quite judgmental. If you were in a broken relationship, maybe your partner cheated on you, you might be quite judgmental about the opposite sex, and you might have a lack of trust there. And this is because we want to protect ourselves, But this need to protect ourselves, these very judgmental views that we harbour, they colour our perception of the world, and they affect what we then get in return. So I hope this is making sense to you. So our mind over time has been conditioned to judge. We have very strong likes, we know what we want, we know what we like, and we also have very strong dislikes. We know what we definitely don't want. And we judge quite often based upon what we know. Oh, well, I know this, they don't know that. Or what we don't know, I don't know that. I don't know something, therefore I'm inferior. Or we judge based on what we perceive as being good or bad. And this quite often labeling of things causes us to really live life from a very limited viewpoint. So, we often listen to that little voice in our head, and it tells us that, this is what's good, this is what's bad, we must label things and people. And then that voice gets so loud that it silences the authentic side of our personality, the real self, and that causes us to constantly evaluate, to compare, and to judge ourselves and others in the world. So this judgmental way of thinking, it projects out of us through our words, through our behaviors, and through our actions. And it actually has a very negative impact on our body, on our health, and in our lives and in our relationships. And for myself, I had a very hard time growing up as a teenager at school, like most people do. When I was, just year 7, year 8, I fell in love with a boy that was older than me. He was in one of the higher years. And because of this, I was very highly judged by a lot of people, not just in my year, but in the whole school. And so I built up the habit of judging myself as a way to beat other people to it. I don't know whether you can relate to that. I used to put myself down before other people could put me down, and I didn't know this. I wasn't aware of this until I was probably around about 25, and I had to reevaluate my whole life through a crisis when I got really, really ill. But it made me realise that actually this judgment I'd been carrying through with me, and it was affecting the way that I was, carrying myself in the world. For another example, I've always suffered with my skin. So whenever I'd come into contact with somebody, I'd always say, oh, my skin's really bad. And that would then prevent them from judging me. And so I don't know whether you can relate to that, We always find a way of putting ourselves down, comparing ourselves to others who are more successful, who are more beautiful than we are, who we think are more beautiful than we are, or are more skilled than ourselves, and we never actually take the time to appreciate what we do have. Good morning, you beautiful people. I can see that you're liking, you're commenting. If this is making sense to you, please let me know. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm not talking to myself, so please let me know. Send me some love. So we're constantly comparing ourselves to others, and not really appreciating the true, authentic self, the true beauty that we have within. So we recognize here that our perception is everything. I don't know about you, but have you ever met somebody and you've built up a judgment about them, whether it's a really good judgment or a negative judgment, and then only down the line you realize that actually you were completely wrong, And so how many times does this happen, but how little time we spend actually assessing and evaluating what we're thinking about is really going to affect, how we live our lives. And so this judgment that we carry around, whether we're judging ourselves, whether we're looking in the mirror and putting ourselves, or looking at somebody across the street saying, oh, she's fat, or she's unhealthy, he's smoking, or look how he's treating the children, we're constantly pointing the finger of judgment. This really comes from our ego. This is our ego, and our ego is very, very contradictive, and it stirs up so many negative emotions within, but we do have the power to tame it if we choose to become aware of these judgments. Good morning, Debbie. So this is why I love meditation. I am addicted to meditation. I need to get a t-shirt with that. I'm addicted to meditation, because when we sit quietly, we increase our awareness. We recognize what we're actually judging most of the time. When you sit and you become still, those judgments will come through so much more harder and stronger and faster than you ever knew. So therefore, you're able to consciously become aware of it and not try and resist it, not try and hide it away, which is what we do really in our waking lives, what we do in our everyday lives. We try and shun those judgments away and pretend they're not there and act like everything's perfect. But when we meditate, those judgments come through and we can sit with them. We can sit with them without trying to resist them, and recognize that that is the nature of our mind, okay? We don't need to try and resist our nature, but what we do need to do is to be able to sit with it and become the witness of what we're thinking about most of the time. We observe those judgments, and then when we look at those judgments, we can go behind them, recognize the sensations that arise in the body, and actually go to the deeper feeling as to why we're judging in the first place. And as I said earlier, those judgments will often come out of fear. So when I find myself judging someone, something, myself, or a situation, a past event, whatever it is, I usually always come back to the root cause, which is fear. And quite often that fear derives from something that happened way back in my childhood, way back in my earlier days. So we become the witness of our thoughts. And when we start to acknowledge these thoughts, it's about thanking them, accepting them as they are, and then you're able to release them and return back to the peace and quiet that you found yourself in. You can move between, into the space between all of the movement, all of the chaos, between the breath, between your thoughts. And this still space is just a healing place to be, where you can really develop and cultivate compassion and love, unconditional love. And it helps you to move out of that separation, you know, ooh, look at him, look how he's behaving over there, or I don't like what she's doing, and recognize that other people outside of you are a direct mirror of you. I know that's a really hard pill for a lot of people to swallow. The things that irritate you or annoy you about other people, when you find yourself judging them, what you're really doing is you're judging yourself. So I hope this is giving you value. If it is, please give me some likes, some thumbs up, you know, comment, share, like let me know what your thoughts are. Is this making sense to you? And as we start to sink into that meditation, you know, we are able to transcend all of those judgments. We're able to quite literally hit that reset button and, you know, increase your vibration, increase the power of love in your life, and actually, you know, move into, you know, serenity, into harmony, and into oneness, wholeness, not just with yourself, but with the world and everything in it as well. So I hope that's helped you today. You know, if you want more of this, you know, please let us know. Visit igowithholly.com. Yeah, igowithholly.com, and you'll see our future meditations, our future yoga practices, and you can find one in the week that's going to suit you and where you're at. So I hope today you're going to be able to move through the day with less judgment and more love and compassion, because you know what, you deserve it. So all we have to do is start to become aware of what we're thinking about, not try and change it, but witness it through using tools like meditation. And, you know, we will certainly increase the quality of our life for the better. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you will have a bright and wonderful day. Namaste.